Good evening. I'm WCIA 3 meteorologist Jacob Dickey. We have a new tornado warning we want to talk to you about here. This is going to Iroquois County. The plan will be to stay on wall-to-wall coverage for not only this storm, but a couple of other storms that are in the area right now. Let's go ahead and bring the graphics full screen, and we'll show you the look at Storm Tracker Doppler radar. A tornado now is down, a tornado likely down, it looks like, near Danforth. And we can see on Storm Tracker Doppler full screen, please. You can see that warning now for northern Iroquois County. There is a couple of other warnings in place. Severe thunderstorm warning for Morgan County and a severe thunderstorm warning also parts of Logan, DeWitt, and Mclean County. In particular, we will focus on all of those storms, but the immediate attention goes to our friends in parts of Iroquois County here. Just for production purposes behind the scenes, if we can make sure and let news know we have an active tornado warning, we'll make sure everyone is in here at this time and aware of the situation. This tornado warning goes until 8:45. A severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado is located near Danforth, very much just to the north of Gilman and Onarga. The warning covers parts of Danforth as well as areas south of Ashcombe and north of Gilman, moving to the east at about 15 miles an hour. This particular storm is a slow mover and therefore not a whole lot of Iroquois County included in this. It does not include Watseka. It does not include Onarga. We think areas from Gilman to Crescent City to Danforth and areas to the south and east of Ashcombe need to seek tornado precautions now, as radar indicating a strengthening storm with that area of rotation perhaps about 3 miles north and west of Gilman. Of course, Gilman on Interstate 57 north of Champaign, where US 24 crosses between Watseka and off to the west towards Fairbury and Forest. This storm here does have some rotation. As we look at our base velocity product, you'll notice a fairly tight circulation now showing up just to the south and west of Danforth. At this time, Danforth needs to seek shelter immediately from this particular storm, slowly moving off to the east. And that's going to be a concern for us here for a little while as we continue to watch this particular storm. A storm spotter has reported a funnel cloud with this storm as it's moved off to the east very slowly. That report just coming in from the National Weather Service office in Chicago. This will include parts of Iroquois County, including Illinois 49 between Crescent City and near Ashcombe areas here. Of course, 45 takes you north from Ashcombe up towards Kankakee near the 49-45 interchange. It will include from Crescent City northward. It does include Gilman and Danforth. We think the storm may stay just to the north of Gilman. Areas down by the US 24 exit on Interstate 57 will be in the clear, but from Gilman downtown northward, we think that there's enough indication on radar that this may very well be a bit of a tornado down potentially, crossing I-57 here in the next few minutes. The time right now is 8:04. Let's do a reset and talk about our other storms. We do have area-wide a number of alerts out there. Another severe thunderstorm warning is in effect. This is for parts of Logan, western DeWitt, and southwestern Mclean County. This particular warning has had my eye also over the last 15 minutes or so. A very strong storm just to the north of Lincoln. It will stay north of Lincoln, but likely travel along and south of Illinois 136. This storm earlier did cause some wind and a few funnel reports near San Jose and the Emden area. The storm now is only a severe thunderstorm warning, and that has a tornado possible tag with it. This tag is used for severe thunderstorm warnings when an area of rotation is being watched closely, but still not likely to produce a tornado in the immediate bit. This will be for north and east of Lincoln towards Atlanta, Mclean, Waynesville, and areas on Illinois 10 to the east and north of Lincoln is what we're watching with this particular storm. A lot of wind, even some quarter-sized hail reported earlier in Delavon from this storm. This warning goes until 9 o'clock. Another warning down the line to talk about now for Morgan County. This storm now approaching the Jacksonville area with 60-mile-per-hour winds. The batch of storms is now crossed through Scott County and western Morgan County. Will be approaching the city of Jacksonville. Not concerned about a tornado with this particular storm at this time, though. Some straight line winds are expected to come from this as it moves off to the east down Interstate 72 towards Jacksonville. Again, that warning does continue for the next little bit here. It's going to go until 8:45 for the region. Let's go ahead and bring me back on screen here, and we'll talk more and point out some things on this storm here. First off, if you're watching in Champaign-Urbana or Danville, Mattoon, Charleston, Shelbyville, Taylorville, Effingham, the Interstate 70 corridor, no no storms in the area right now. Our 3 severe storms are located, one in Iroquois County with a likely tornado crossing near Danforth on I-57. Another strong storm with a history of hail and wind damage in northern Logan County. That storm may produce a possible tornado. We're watching that one closely. Confidence not there as of now that will be the case. And then straight line winds likely heading into Morgan County as this storm moves out of Scott County down Interstate 72. Area-wide, we do have a severe thunderstorm watch. This watch goes until 11 p.m. tonight. We think by 11 o'clock or midnight, we may very well be finishing up with our severe threat for the day today, and that's something that we'll continue to watch here. Just for some housekeeping notes, we are right now streaming on our digital channels. You can join us on Facebook or Twitter, as well as on the WCIA3 weather app. We're there now. We're watching reports come in from areas and questions. I'm seeing those, and I appreciate your questions and comments. If you have any photos or videos of damage or anything like that, and it is safe to do so, please send those to WCIA3 News on Facebook. You can email weather@WCIA.com or news@WCIA.com, or you can also submit reports to us through the WCIA3 weather app. We are watching a couple of these storms here. First off, we're continuing to watch that tornado warning in Iroquois County. Does not include a whole lot of the county here. A very slow-moving storm, but some pretty impressive rotation with that. And also in the back in a little bit here, probably a couple of minutes, I'd like to bring in our graphics of the earlier storms in the area and some of those early reports so we can show you what has happened already. At least one report of a tornado earlier in Champaign County. That's not a threat as of this time. That storm has dissipated, but this storm here looking very similar north of Gilman now. The area of rotation sitting on top of Interstate 57 between Danforth and Gilman. Ashcombe sits up here on Illinois 116 and US 45 right there. That's where the state police headquarters is. To the south is Gilman and Onarga. Highway 24 to the east towards Crescent City. You cross into Watseka, and then Highway 1, of course, the main north-south route from Watseka northward and then southward towards Danville here. This particular part of Iroquois County should be taking tornado precautions now. Here's what we would like you to do when there's a tornado warning issued. If you're in the area now, first off, you got that alert on the WCIA3 weather app. We'd like you to proceed to your safe place and leave your mobile home. This is primarily for Iroquois County. And then we'd also encourage you to get out of cars. No travel should be occurring between Watseka and Ashcombe on Gilman and Ashcombe on Interstate 57. We should be halting traffic, getting to the nearest exit, the convenience store, and stopping. In, down, and up, particularly right now for the city of Danforth, the town of Danforth, I should say. In, down, and up. Be inside, most interior room, as many walls between you and the outside of your home as possible. As low as you can, getting down, whether that's a basement, a crawl space, a low spot, even a bathtub, hunkering down until the storm passes, and covering up. Blankets, pillows, mattress are important. We also encourage you to grab a bicycle helmet. Bicycle helmets very much save lives when there's severe weather like this. If you're in a tornado warning, the #1 cause of injuries and fatalities from tornadoes occurs from head trauma. That's why a bike helmet, a very great and safe thing to do. Grab one, put it on with the kids, and head to your tornado safe place, particularly in parts of Iroquois County near Danforth, north of Gilman, north of Crescent City, and south of Ashcombe. Another look to the area. Of course, I'm meteorologist Jacob Dickey. We do have in the field Chief Meteorologist Kevin Leidy and Meteorologist Jack Griffin. We'll come to them in a bit. If it's okay, let's go ahead and show some of the graphics if we can, if they're available. I'd like to show some of the earlier tornadoes that have been reported, earlier damage reports in the area, and if that's something that we have, let me know in my ear. In the meantime, watching these 3 storms that are out there and seeing some of those photos. These are from earlier reports here. This was a photo. Here we go. This was an earlier photo. This came from Cisco. Colleen sent that in of an earlier tornado-warned storm. We did have a spotter in the area show perhaps 2 to 3 brief touchdowns from that storm in Piatt County. Piatt County no longer in a threat now. Another tornado did touch down near Mahomet, and this was actually beyond that, near Ludlow, that rope funnel cloud that came down and is continuing to really show some of that rotation in the area. I've got a couple other photos photos as well. If we can, I'd like to show, there it is. That's the photo of the day there near Mahomet. This was at about 5:30, a brief touchdown in Champaign County. We do have information on what we've seen so far on our website, a story there. There's also some viewer photos. Of course, if you have those viewer photos, send those our way. And we have another photo here. This is another look of that tornado that touched down near Mahomet from the other side of the storm, from near Dewey. That's east of Fisher. If you drive on Fisher to the east on 136, Dewey's that little town to the north. There's a two-way stop sign there with Dewey-Fisher Road. The Dewey State Bank, Dewey National Bank, I should say, sits there in the corner. This is in that general area earlier tonight. Let's go ahead and go back to the graphics. We want to spend some time with our friends in Iroquois County. I understand that the Daytime Emmy Awards are on now, and we'd love to show those. I'd love to kick back and watch them too, but our job here is to stay weather aware and stay focused when there's tornadoes and severe weather. We will continue our wall-to-wall coverage for the foreseeable future here, primarily for Iroquois County, but we will not forget our friends in parts of Livingston, Mclean, Logan, DeWitt counties, also towards Morgan County in the area. And so we will be staying with this coverage, as it is our duty and our responsibility to stay with our viewers here for the foreseeable future. This is another look at that storm near Danforth. I'm increasingly concerned about the chance for a tornado to drop here. I have not seen any reports, but the rotation continues to show some pretty decent signs here. We've had spotters reporting a funnel cloud, and the storm is moving to the east. Other spotters are circulation due over the town of Danforth right now. Here's something else we always encourage. Whenever we have a situation like this, there's a possible tornado, or at least there's been indications of rotation and more with this storm. If you know anyone in Danforth, parts of Iroquois counties, and very much you know people in this area, do reach out and let them know via text message here. Again, as soon as the tornado warning came out, we jumped on the air, and we will stay here with the responsibility for our friends that are seeing dangerous weather, especially given the reports that are for the area. We do now have a report of a multi-vortex tornado touchdown in a field outside of Danforth. A confirmed tornado now on the ground in the area of Danforth. This now report of a confirmed tornado down very near Danforth. That's the report that is just coming in. We should treat this as if a tornado down with a dangerous situation for the city of Danforth. We'll zoom in closely here. It looks like by now the rotation has crossed I-57. It's darn close to it. You can see 22 North Road and West North Street in Danforth with this particular storm here that's down. Again, a confirmed tornado down in the ground in this area near Danforth and parts of Iroquois County, and we will spend time with that, given spotters reporting this tornado down. I'll show you some of the details in this. That polygon is now turned pink, and you can see the tornado warning until 8:45 for an observed tornado now near the city of Danforth. Gilman, we can give you an all clear if you're in Gilman proper. If you live north of Gilman on US 45 towards Ashcombe near Danforth, we need you in your shelter. Areas to the east of Danforth, stay in shelter. Areas north of Crescent City on Illinois 49, please stay in shelter as this storm passes. Again, this is now a confirmed tornado in Iroquois County, very near Danforth, moving off to the east at 15 miles an hour. There also may be a little bit of hail in this storm, though that is the least of concerns right now. And we will be staying with this storm in particular. I think I've hit the message hard enough with that storm in Iroquois County. I want to check in on some other storms real quick, because there's some conversation of some strengthening rotation in our storm in northern Logan County. That now approaching I-55 to the north and east of Lincoln. If you're familiar with that area between Lincoln and Atlanta, that's old US 66, way back in the day, in that region. This storm now approaching I-55 north and east of Lincoln. Lincoln proper not included in this warning. It is a severe thunderstorm warning with a tornado possible tag. And that's what we have for this particular area. Not immediately likely to produce a tornado like we are seeing with the storm in parts of Iroquois County, but still monitoring an area of rotation. Let's go ahead and bring me full screen here. I can see we've got the storm tracker out. If we want to double box that next in a little bit after I explain some things, that's totally fine. Kevin and Jack in the Springfield area heading towards Morgan County. This here is looking at velocity product on radar. In Lincoln, the green is going towards the radar. That radar sits right on the east side of town. If you've ever driven in Lincoln from the east on Illinois 10, You've passed the National Weather Service, that big soccer ball in the sky. That radar constantly scans our atmosphere and looks for things here. When the velocity product looks for wind going towards that green. A lot of this wind surging to the south here is what we call rear flank downdraft. And that wind oftentimes can help bring some rotation to this area, so we will continue to watch it. Though right now, the reds and greens not that bright and not that tight in that area. There is, though, another area that we'll watch here that's near the south side of Bloomington. This spot here has my eye near Randolph, and that's going to be south of Bloomington normal. Here's Illinois 51 between Bloomington and Hayworth. There's US 51. There's Interstate 74. You take this from Bloomington, the south side here. You head out of town. Downs sits over here. A lot of houses and neighborhoods. Maybe a weak circulation trying to get going just to the south of Interstate 74, US 51 near Randolph. We'll watch this area closely. That'll be a heads up for Downs and parts of southeastern McLean County. There is no warning at this time, but certainly worth monitoring here into the region. The main focus at this point continues to be for Iroquois County. Before I jump there, a new warning did just cross for parts of central Illinois, and that's going to be a severe thunderstorm warning now, and it will include parts of Cass, Morgan, Sagamon, and Menard County. This area was impacted late last night by severe storms, severe thunderstorm warnings. We're doing it all again today. This will include areas to the west of Interstate 55 in Sagamon County, Menard County, Cass County, and Morgan County, including Jacksonville, New Berlin, Loami, Curran, Jerome, Springfield, Chatham, Glenarm, Auburn. There's Waverly. Nortonville sits over here. There's Murrayville. Also, the southeastern part of Menard County here. Ashland sits right here. Petersburg sits here. You go north, there's Sherman. It's not quite to Sherman, but this warning does go right up to Interstate 55, including at least the west half of Springfield. So we'll call it all of Springfield for the severe thunderstorm warning. The main concern with this batch of storms is straight line winds with up to 60 miles per hour, and that's what we'll continue to watch here. Just noting all of these warnings, of course, crawling on the bottom of the screen, and we'll continue to do so in the area. All right, so we're going to jump back to Iroquois County and talk more about our confirmed tornado now. The National Weather Service continues to monitor this storm as it's very much near and close to this community of Danforth. Again, here's Illinois US 24. That sits right here. Gilman, Crescent City, Watseka. Illinois 1 carries you to the north towards St. Anne and Kankakee. Here's Illinois 49. That one brings you south, if you go south all the way through down towards Cissna Park and Rankin. Interstate 57. Areas west of Interstate 57, I think we can give you an all clear. At this point, it is east, but not by much. Still Danforth. Go ahead and stay in your shelter. Rural areas east of Danforth, north of Crescent City, and south and east of Ashcombe. We'd like you to stay in shelter, too, as the National Weather Service does mention that there is a tornado that has been reported with this storm. The signature itself, and I'll show you here, they're indicating maybe weakening slightly. And looking at this, earlier, we saw those bright reds and bright greens very close to each other, an indication of a mesocyclone, an area of rotation in this supercell thunderstorm. That's not nearly the case right now, but still, I think we should take note to shelter still and treat this as a confirmed tornado, given that the storm has a history of at least a multi-vortex tornado in the Danforth area. If we can, I can see Kevin and Jack. They're probably listening to me. Someone give me a thumbs up if you're willing to talk or able to. And we've got folks watching your... Okay, we do not have them yet. That's okay, but I can see them. We just can't hear them. They'll be checking in with this from Sangamon and Morgan County here shortly. Right now, of course, we are here because of the tornado warning in Iroquois County. The storm motion itself, only 15 miles an hour, a very slow-moving storm off to the east. That's why this warning doesn't extend all that far out here. As I pop back up to our normal standard reflectivity, you look at these storms, and oftentimes we have fast-moving storms. That warning polygon will stretch all the way across a county. And we also only issue them for parts of counties. So we call it a polygon. If the warning back in the day was issued for a county, it went out for all of the county. But this time, now we have the technology to just cut slivers of counties out, and we've really highlighted that narrow area north of US 24 and south and east of Ashcombe, where this confirmed tornado has been reported into the area and continues to move that way. We still are watching other storms into the area, and one thing I would mention is that these storms have quite a bit of rainfall with them. Flash flood watch does continue until tomorrow morning at least. You can see in all these green counties here, we may get another couple of inches of rain, and these And these showers and storms are prolific rainfall producers here. That's why that flash flood warning has been out and is out for at least most of the area except for Interstate 70. And then we still have the severe thunderstorm watch that continues until 11 p.m. tonight. All of those counties in pink. Again, it's about the same area. If you're under the flash flood watch, you're under the severe thunderstorm watch. This one goes until 11 tonight. Does not include our Interstate 70 counties, but at least the threat for strong to severe storms will be there across much of the area. We've been watching these storms. A lot of our attention has been focused on Iroquois County with the confirmed tornado reported moments ago near Danforth. Other storms, though, are moving into the area, including this storm out here near Jacksonville. As it moves off to the east, it will be approaching Springfield. In the storm tracker right now, we have both meteorologist Jack Griffin driving and chief meteorologist Kevin Leidy. They're watching these storms and keeping us updated. Been a busy day here in central Illinois. Kevin and Jack, talk more about what your plans are, what you're noticing, and what the rest of the night will bring.
Yeah, so you've been focusing on that Iroquois County storm. Meteorologist Jack Griffin here with us, Kevin Leidy here in the storm tracker. And we are actually tracking the storm coming in to Sagamon County. We are just northwest of Springfield right now. We are traveling along Highway 97, and we are getting in position here as that storm comes out of the Jacksonville area. This is going to be kind of coming right up into portions of Sagamon County, where this has a lot of wind associated with it. From Jacksonville to Ashland, those winds coming in there right now, 60-mile-an-hour winds, and they just put a very large severe thunderstorm warning on the cell here. That's coming into the Sangamon County area. That severe thunderstorm warning for Chatham, Waverly, Auburn, areas there, Curran to New Berlin. All of those locations are about 15 to 25 minutes away from getting hit by this little cell that is coming in. I want to call it little because it is a pretty large system that is coming from Jacksonville and racing east right along I-72s. We have positioned ourselves right in the middle of that severe thunderstorm warning cell. You'll see some flashes of lightning here, and we're most likely going to get into some very heavy rainfall. So as Jacob has been mentioning there, he's been watching that storm there up into Iroquois County that had the confirmation of a tornado there just to the east of Danforth now is where that is located. But we are going to be monitoring our storm here on the southwest end of things here. The one coming in from the Springfield area in the next 25 minutes or so. A lot of wind associated with that. And with all these storms today, they have quickly spawned funnels. There have been tornadoes. And so it is something that we've got to carefully kind of monitor here, because anytime these little notches can develop within this line and can produce a tornado. So we're going to be monitoring things here for you on this side of the viewing area. We've got a large viewing area here to cover, but we have you from one side to the other. Jacob's going to talk more about that tornado warning that is in effect for Iroquois County here and have the latest as we track that, and that cell that's up there northeast of Lincoln and in the Atlanta area. That's been showing some signs of rotation. As a matter of fact, that severe thunderstorm warning did have a tornado possible tag associated with it as well. So 3 different storms we're really watching: the Iroquois County, the one into Logan and up into Mclean, DeWitt County, and now the one coming into the Springfield area that we're about to get hit with in the next 20 minutes with some very strong winds. Jacob, we're going to send it back to you in the studio for the latest on that tornado warning.
All right, thank you, Kevin. We did just get a photo into the newsroom of that tornado in Iroquois County. We'll have that as soon as we can, but while that storm is there, I do want to take a look at some other storms into the area. Of course, right now from Sibley to Colfax, Fairbury, Chatsworth, Roberts. A lot of rain, some lightning and thunder in that region. To the south and west, though, does appear to be a more substantial storm. And I'm growing more and more concerned of the signature south of Bloomington as it continues to show signs of rotation. We have no warning in the area, but we will monitor that. As soon as we get that photo up, if you can give me a thumbs up here from the floor, and just sounds good. Just let me know there. We will look at that photo and show you it here momentarily. They've got it behind the scenes. They're making some graphics and having that. We'll have that for you. But I do want to mention right now, this signature very much south and east of Bloomington is quite strong. If we can also bring the graphics full here, I think it's going to illustrate a lot more what's happening. The wind really picking up. So I think right now, even though there is no tornado warning in Mclean County, Downs, southeast Bloomington towards Bentown Holder Road, you've got Myrna Road, the airport down there, areas south and east of the airport, this little area does have my eye for some strengthening rotation here. What you see is the reds are going away and the green is going towards. And right near Interstate 74 to the south and west of Bloomington, but halfway between the Downs exit and U1 Interstate 74 exit, very much is a concern here. There's no war. Still think, though, if you know folks in parts of Mclean County, South Bloomington, that'd be Downs, maybe the Tri-Valley School District. We've got to watch that signature closely here. And if I flip over to my debris tracker, nothing immediately sticks out to me of concern in this area. What we're looking for in this is those deep blue colors to indicate that there's debris being lofted. Again, no warning and no immediate tornado warning now and no tornado, but we've got to watch that particular area very closely here. We're waiting for the National Weather Service to update us on. Further down the line, then the severe thunderstorm warning for northeastern Logan and western DeWitt and far southern southwestern Mclean County does continue. This warning goes until 9 o'clock. The storm itself now near Atlanta has shown some surging winds now. The winds east of Interstate 55 will be northeast of Lincoln near Atlanta, heading towards Waynesville and Midland City, north of Beeson on Illinois 10. A fairly rural area out there, but still an area we've got to watch and keep an eye on for our friends in western DeWitt County. We're watching all of these areas closely with this particular storm, and then we'll check back with the storm that is down to the south and west, where Chief Meteorologist Kevin Leidy and Meteorologist Jack Griffin are watching that storm. If we can double box. Okay, we've got the photo from Iroquois County. Let's go ahead and show you this. Oh, this is Mahomet looking north. I'm sorry. Was that what this was? You said 710? Okay. Okay, I see that now. I'm talking to the producers behind the scenes. This appears to be a tornado from a storm near 710 earlier. We're going to work and confirm this. This is not Iroquois County. I'm mistaken about that. I had the wrong information here in my hands, and they corrected me behind the scenes. But still, this is an indication that these storms have produced at least a couple of tornadoes in central Illinois. And so that's something we're going to watch. Again, this photo came into us from Carissa, and we appreciate our viewers for sending that. We're particularly interested to see the Iroquois County storm, if our friends have any reports. I'm also perusing through Facebook and Twitter now to check for any information from that area. Let's go ahead and bring the graphics back full screen if we can, and eventually I'd like to double box. And we've got the Springfield camera on camera 1. We can show that, or we can do Kevin out in the field. This line of storms now approaching New Berlin does have quite a bit of wind with it. In fact, the storm tracker now from that area. So we're watching this and keeping an eye on it, and we'll continue to do so here. In fact, there goes screen. Looking for more information now. Again, I apologize about the daytime Emmys. I understand we want to watch them. They're important. You know, people want to watch their shows. But at this point, with very much confirmation of at least several tornadoes now in central Illinois, and I'm checking through to see if I have any photos. I don't see. There was a spotter report, though, of a tornado in that area near Danforth. That does not appear to be on the ground at this time, but we're going to stay with coverage here through at least 9 o'clock and continue to do so. The latest update does have... all right, we got a new tornado warning coming. This is going to be for Mclean County. We talked about that area of rotation. This is going to be for Downs, Bentown, probably Leroy and Aerosmith. That thing, there it is. You're seeing it populate now. Red line, center line, the city of Downs. Tornado warning goes until 9:15. This is our second tornado warning. We showed you that area of rotation here. The area of rotation now very close to Interstate 74 near US 150 to the east of US 51, that is. It'll be just to the south and west, we think, moving off to the east. Leroy, this includes you. Bentown, this includes you. This includes Interstate 74 between Bloomington and the Empire exit. That's US 136, south and east of Leroy. Interstate 74 in southeastern Mclean County encouraged at this time. This does not include the city of Bloomington, at least downtown. It will include areas to the south and east. In fact, we look here. Right out here is where the airport is. The airport sits here. You've got Myrna Road. Myrna sits up here. The airport road down to the south into 150. There's a four-way stoplight there at 150 south of the airport. Going to include that. It will include the city of Downs. It will include the city of Leroy, also including Bentown now for this tornado warning. The newest warning coming across, moving to the east at only 15 miles an hour. Very slow-moving storms. The thing to note with these slow-moving storms is there will be a lot of wind and a lot of heavy rain here. These rainfall totals, I think, will likely be very impressive over the next little bit. So we're looking here for some debris. What I'm looking at on Debris Tracker, this is a look at how things are correlated in the atmosphere. We're looking to see if there's anything abnormal up there. When we see solid reds like this, an indication that we're dealing with mainly rain at this point. What we'll look for is when we have low correlation, objects are detected in the air with irregular sizes and shapes and not correlated with each other. You'll see these areas of blue pop out. If a tornado does come here, we would see an area of blue pick up pretty quickly, and that may end up being the case based on how we're looking at the rotation here near this community of Downs, a very populated area. A lot of folks live on 150 south and east of Bloomington. If we see that, that would indicate there's a tornado down. It would measure debris, trees, buildings, and whatnot. So we'll keep you updated. All right, we've got Chief Meteorologist Kevin Leidy in the field. I'd like to toss to Kevin and talk more about what he's got out there. Kevin, been an active night. I know Jack's out looking outside. You're in the storm tracker. Talk to us more about what you're seeing over west of Springfield.
Well, yeah, well, I'm going to touch on that just a second. Jacob, if you want to, pull up that radar back on that storm just west of Downs. What I was looking at here, it looks like there was a brief little TDS that did come up a few scans ago just west of Downs and just kind of southwest of the interstate. There was probably a couple scans ago, looked like there was a TDS. There wasn't much there. It's not a huge one, but there was a little bit of an uptick that kind of is co-located. It is rain-wrapped. It'd be a very rain-wrapped tornado there, but I think there was a brief little TDS that showed up. It seems to be spreading out a little bit more, but it all is co-located. I would not be surprised if there indeed was a tornado. That TDS, from what I can tell, was showing up, let's see here, right about north 1750 East Road and East 850 North Road is where I was seeing that that TDS show up on that storm. Again, that was Jones a few scans ago. I wanted to talk about that because we're looking at that storm, and we're also looking at the storm that we are obviously on, which you're looking at. If we pull up our camera view here, you're going to see the shelf cloud that is coming in from the storm. We are actually in northwestern Sagamon County, northwest of Springfield. We're along Highway 97, where we are just minutes away from getting blasted by the leading edge of the storm complex coming out of the Ashland area right now. Just kind of moved through, is heading through the New Berlin area, right along I-72, and this is going to be coming into the Springfield area, and this has quite a bit of wind associated with it. Winds there 60 miles an hour, probably between Ashland, New Berlin, coming out of Jacksonville right now. And again, we are just northwest of town of Springfield on Highway 97 there, kind of where 97 and 125 come together is our general location. And we're looking at the storm. You see some flashes of lightning that are showing up out here as well. And we're about to get hit by this. This is a wind producer. We've not seen any rotation with this. We're not seeing anything in terms of tornadic circulation, but this is a widespread wind damage event here for Sagamon County right now that we are monitoring. So we've got that storm, the new warning that Jacob was talking about there up in Mclean County, where I think it looked like there was that little TDS a few scans ago that was west of Downs. And again, that storm up there seems to be kind of rain wrapped, okay? So you're not going to be able to see the tornado up there. So what I'll do is I'll let Jacob kind of look at that storm again. You might want to come back to us here in just a few minutes because that storm is going to be right off of us. As that shelf cloud moves in, we're going to get hit by those 60-mile-an-hour winds. So we'll briefly send it back to you as we await the leading edge line to hit us.
All right, thanks, Kevin. We're going to leave this double box up with you. So if you want to keep your camera forward, that'll give me eyes on what we're seeing. And leave the double box. On the left side of your screen is a look from the storm tracker looking to the west of Springfield, that shelf cloud coming on in. Meanwhile here, as Kevin was talking about that, I saw the same thing. It looks like we may have had a brief tornado touchdown, a little bit of debris lofted here. Notice, I'd like you to keep your eyes right here. This is in the Gillum Downs. Right about here sits Tri-Valley Baptist Church. This is Interstate 74. There's a bridge on Airport Road cross to get to the other side, and there's a frontage road right along that area. Earlier, there was a little, very subtle decrease in correlation. And so focus your eyes right here. And when I bring this correlation product up, we do see that there's at least a few little pixels of yellow here. That's actually the latest update. Here you go. You can see right there where my finger is. It's just a little bit of that green and yellow, maybe an indication of at least a possible tornado touchdown then near Tri-Valley Baptist Church. Would be west of Downs, although the rotational signature maybe not as strong still in that area. So we're going to watch it closely and keep our eyes for our friends in Mclean County. I do want to give some new information for our friends in Iroquois County. It's been a little while since we've checked in with you. The good news is even though we had that tornado warning in Iroquois County, that warning has been canceled early. The storm has been weakening slowly. There still is a very subtle amount of circulation in that area, and the atmosphere today has just a little bit of shear, and so that's something we're going to watch closely, but we'll keep our eyes on it. But for now, all clear for Iroquois County for at least now. That could change as more storms move on in, and we see these storms pulse up and down. We will work to find out more information on that confirmed tornado near Danforth and see if there's any damage in that area. But right now, it seems like the most intense storms are now down by Morgan and parts of Logan and counties here. So as I check some graphics and make sure I'm checking feeds, if there's anyone with reports from the Danforth and Iroquois County area, if you have power outages or anything like that, please let us know. We're live on Facebook. We can see the messages, and we can see all of those messages coming in. So thank you for those who've reported things and kept us updated. Again, the tornado warning for Iroquois County is no more. Let's check down this area of rain showers near Sibley up to the north towards Strawn. Strawn sits right here. There's the railroad track curve, the old Bloomer line that crosses there. 24 and Illinois 47. Right here is where Forest is. There's Fairbury. There's Chatsworth. And then off to the east, Melvin and Roberts. A lot of rain in this area. I don't see anything right now that is concerning from this storm, but we know there is at least some wind shear there. And so we'll go ahead and just flip over to our velocity product. A lot of reds. That's good. Maybe some gusty winds with that rain. Some frequent lightning as well north of Sibley and towards Cropsey, Strawn, and towards Chatsworth. We'll keep our eyes in that area. Really, the concern now is with this storm in Mclean County. This is the community of Downs. And you see the latest update here. That circulation not nearly as evident over town, but notice these bright pixels of darker reds and pinks, an indication that we do have at least have some very strong winds here. That's likely 50, 60 mile-an-hour winds pushing out of this storm. The rear flank downdraft pulls out and around, and that still will lead to perhaps an area of circulation that still could develop here along US 150 near Downs and off to the east. The warning does include Leroy. It does include Bentown and Holder. It includes areas to the west of Ellsworth. This is going to be west of Moraine View State Park. In fact, a lot of folks at Moraine View are probably taking advantage of the weekend to go camping and things there. So if you have anyone at Moraine View State Park, let them know that at least some very strong winds heading in their direction. We've already this month had a number of campgrounds and earlier storms get damaged, and thankfully we've had no fatalities, but this strong winds, perhaps as it heads towards Moraine View State Park, anyone camping there will want to seek a sturdier shelter. So we will put that notice out there, a very popular area to go here in central Illinois. This tornado warning will continue for the foreseeable future. Here we've got the warning in effect, and it's going to go until 9:15. If the warning continues, we will stay on through WCIX News at 9. If not, we'll do a commercial break and go back and cover things on that channel, just so you know, for housekeeping purposes. But I foresee that we'll likely continue coverage with at least a number of confirmed tornadoes in the area. This now is for south and eastern Mclean County, including Leroy, Downs, Bentown, Holder, and areas just to the west of Moraine View State Park. There's Moraine View State Park, a very popular area. Spent many times growing up going there with my family to camping. A beautiful area. This wind and rain heading towards Moraine View State Park. Send a text to anyone you know that may be there. Say, hey, you need to shelter WCIA on digital and get the latest, because we really don't want to have to deal with any issues there. And that will be something we can pass along with news to kind of keep an eye on for that. More storms now in north and eastern Logan County. This severe thunderstorm warning goes until 9 o'clock for northwestern DeWitt, southwestern Mclean, and eastern Logan counties. It's with a 60-mile-an-hour winds and a tornado possible tag. Oftentimes, we have either a tornado warning or a severe thunderstorm warning middle step in there, and the middle step in there is a severe thunderstorm warning with a tornado possible tag. It means they're monitoring some rotation and continuing to watch it, but it doesn't look immediately likely in the next couple of minutes to drop a tornado. It's kind of the heightened awareness saying this is a severe thunderstorm, but it may also produce a tornado in the foreseeable future. And so we're going to watch for that and keep folks in line here. Eventually, as this batch of heavy rain and storms moves to the east, Wapella, Clinton, to the south here, Beeson sits here. There's Barnett, Waynesville, Kenny, Clinton Lake, also downstream from this, the heavy wind and rain heading in that direction. Probably a good idea to give friends or people you may know at Clinton Lake ahead there. My parents love camping out there. With more of this rain and wind coming there, we want to make sure we're raising awareness of that as much as possible. All right, we're going to check in here in the storm in Sagamon and Menard County. We've got Kevin and Jack in the field. We'll head to them here in a second. The leading edge of this wind and rain really showing some strong winds now in parts of Menard and Sangamon County. That's the shelf cloud that we've seen on the camera there. Of course, Kevin and Jack appearing to reposition and keep their eyes on things. You can see that almost backwards, that's an indication of some strong straight line winds heading towards Springfield. Of course, there's Kevin and Jack now. We'll bring them full screen and talk to them. There's Kevin right now. Kevin and Jack have been enjoying things. It looks like in the background, that corn really picking up. Tell us a little bit more about what you're seeing.
It is. We're literally, within the past 5 seconds, the winds have really started to pick up here. You might be able to hear it.
Yeah.
Yeah, winds are really picking up. We are just getting hit on the leading edge of the storm in Sagamon County right now. Let's see what it looks like here as we take our camera here in front. We are literally getting passed over with the leading edge of this, the gust front, you would call it here, as those winds will potentially be up to 50 to 60 miles per hour. That's your thunderstorm warning. We are still here along Highway 97, just northwest of Springfield. And seeing that storm as it's coming in, we are just starting to get the rain and those strong winds beginning to pick up here. We're going to see what kind of winds that we think we're going to be getting here in the next a few minutes or so, but things are starting to ramp up even more for us, as you can see. And again, this is the severe thunderstorm warning cell that's coming in to Sangamon County right now. And Jack, here in just a bit, we're going to really see those winds ramp up.
Yeah, we've only have one microphone in here, but we've got the cornfield just to our left of us, and we've got as a car passing behind us. We're safely off the road right now, but we're starting to see the crops really swaying here in the wind. The rain is picking up, but the leading edge of the strong winds just about here, but the winds have not picked up yet to their full potential as of where we are right now. We're in the Bradfordton area, which is just to the northwest of Springfield. And again, this is our view out the storm tracker right now. We've got some of the rain here hitting it. The back view looks pretty cool. It's in night mode right now, so it looks almost black and white, very grainy, but the dark layer on top, that's the clouds passing over us right now. And so we are just going to ride this storm out, and based on where we were when we were doing our weather radios, we had to be down here in Springfield. We could not get up to those other warnings up by Mclean County currently, or the Iroquois County one earlier on. So we were just had to be here because that's where we were. But this line is pushing right into the Springfield area right now, and Sangamon County, as well as many other counties, are currently under this severe thunderstorm warning for it's 60 miles an hour and 1-inch hail. So it's your baseline warning here. But in the storm tracker, we've got, again, another view out the front there. But the rain really beginning to pick up here. The lightning's kind of fallen off, I would say, Kevin. It's definitely gusty out here for sure. Not to severe criteria just yet, but the storm definitely is capable of doing that because there's a lot of energy to work with in the atmosphere.
Yeah, the storm that's coming in here into Springfield, Sangamon County here in the next few minutes. So if you're in Springfield, if you are in Riverton, Sherman, Rochester, on the south side of town, you're going to get that heavy rainfall. You're going to see those winds begin to pick up. Again, you're looking at our view from our camera. You're going to see the lightning there that's flashing every once in a while. It's a very large thunderstorm complex that's coming through. So we're going to just kind of wait this one out and then kind of track this because this storm's probably going to kind of hug right along I-72 maybe eventually down the line, you're talking Decatur, you're talking Forsyth, Moreau, maybe southern Logan County and Mount Pulaski. So we're going to track this, follow it back, and keep you up to date on this storm, because here it is right on top of us now in Sagamon County. Severe thunderstorm warning as our winds start to pick up close to 60 miles an hour with this. For now, we'll send it back into the studio. We'll keep you up to date on what we are seeing out here.
All right, thanks, Kevin, and thanks, Jack. Of course, there in the Bradfordton area, that's up to the north and west of Springfield, northwest side there, and there they are. They're going to bring me full here, and we've got on my right, your left side of the screen here. That's over here. This is the Springfield camera. I'm going to turn, but we very much expect to see that there's considering a tornado likely in Iroquois County and at least a possible tornado based on radar in Mclean County. That's our one tornado warning in the area, and our job is to stay wall to wall for tornado warnings across central Illinois, also monitoring an area of rotation near Lincoln. And then, of course, these strong winds coming into Springfield now. I'm going to pull the sky cam up, and then I'll do a little turning of it here behind the scenes. And if we can bring that full screen, I think that's going to show a better view of what we're looking at there. This off in the distance, very faint, but you can see that same shelf cloud that just rolled over them. We're looking off to the west, the capital at the bottom of the screen there. Now to the south and west, that's towards Curran and Jerome, and the south side of town in Springfield. And then moving off back to the other direction, that shelf cloud rolling on in. I think we'll keep this camera, there you go, lightning flash, help to illuminate. That's a sign of some strong winds coming into the city of Springfield of at least 50 to 60. Do you have a report of power outages in Pleasant Plains in Menard County? And I'm expecting that this line of storms will produce more. So if we can from this point, I'd like to double box this camera shot, and that way we can watch for any surges in the electrical grid coming into the city of Springfield with strong straight line winds, and watching a number of these severe storms that have had a history of damage and even tornadoes in central Illinois. That's what we're going to watch here and continue to focus on for the future. All right, let's go back to radar and update on the severe weather. Again, a tornado warning continues for Mclean County. We likely had a brief tornado touchdown in the city of Downs. I have no reports of damage from that. Storm spotters are reporting some strong winds and rotation in the Moraine View State Park area. We've mentioned that before. This storm right here really showing signs of surging out here. If you're familiar with Leroy, on the north side of town, there's the ballparks. You can head east on that back roads that parallels 136. That takes you towards Sabina and towards Bellflower. There's Illinois 54 up towards Gibson City. They're having a car show up there tonight. I'm sure they're watching the weather very closely. Their area of rotation is embedded within the rain here between Downs and Leroy. Not nearly as impressive as it was. The storm also moving very slowly, 15 miles an hour, and so it won't move all that fast. And now the National Weather Service does a tornado that touched down earlier near County Road 1900 and 1675 east, just to the west of Downs. We talked about that earlier. So this storm likely had a tornado earlier. I don't think now it does, but still it will have some very strong winds, and I anticipate that there'll be a new severe thunderstorm warning extended to the east with that. We'll take a look at that velocity product and show you inside the storm what we look at. Look at all these deep reds and pink colors here. Down in 136 south and west of Leroy, all of that strong wind blowing on through there, and that still may be enough where if there's a little spot of rotation, I tell you what, not that far away from Downs still at this point. It hasn't made much progress to the east. A lot of that wind will surge out, and your rotation can sometimes stay a little stationary, though it is a broad circulation near Downs. I don't think in the near future likely to produce a tornado, but that can change, especially since I see some of these bright reds here south and east of Downs. There's a set of curves down south and east of town there, and that will surge to the north. So we'll still watch this storm very closely. We'll check in on our other storm in parts of Logan County here. The main event for this one is going to be the wind threat. And you can see here that wind in really wrapped up in the rain here. That storm surges off to the east. This will be coming towards Farmer City and eventually into parts of Champaign and Fort County here soon. Perhaps an indication with this big complex of storms, that backward C shape you see right here. The wind really starting to surge down 136. So heads up for Fisher, perhaps Mahomet, Rantoul, Gibson City, Paxton, perhaps even Champaign-Urbana. And then you see here the tail end where this one severe thunderstorm warning is. A lot of rain. In fact, there's the new severe thunderstorm warning that just popped in here for DeWitt, Macon, Piatt, and far southeastern Mclean County for that surging of the winds moving off to the south and east. And so we'll watch the storm here and continue to monitor. I have no indication from the National Weather Service that they're going to adjust or extend the tornado warning. They say they're looking behind the scenes. That warning will either expire or be replaced by 9 o'clock. The plan, just for purposes, is that we will stay on WCIX for weather coverage and do some news there, but we'll go back to programming at 9 o'clock if this tornado warning is let go. So you'll want to flip the channel there. We will keep our digital platform also on, but with the history of tornadoes, we may very well have seen, based on some reports from storm spotters and storm chasers, a tornado in Iroquois County, a couple of tornadoes in Champaign County, and a couple of tornadoes in Macon County earlier tonight. And that's why we continue to watch this storms very closely here and monitor things closely. This new severe thunderstorm warning, though, that is issued is going to include Monticello, Allerton Park, Clinton Lake, Clinton, Maroa, Forsyth. Areas to the east, it will include Mansfield, it will include Farmer City, and that's for 60-mile-an-hour winds mainly with the storm, as it now looks like from the National Weather Service and their warning, starting to see a bit of a south and eastward surge in the storm. And so that's going to be something that's pretty important to note here, with that storm surging out, that heavy wind and rain now moving to the south and east at 25 miles an hour, picking up a little bit, and will continue to do so. So that's that new warning that's in place. I do want to mention again, back here in Sagamon County, we now have confirmation of power outages in Pleasant Plains. We also know there's a lot of straight line winds here. If we can bring the Springfield Tower Cam and double box that, I'd like to double box that and leave it there because I think we may be able to see something happen, and we may take it full screen also. So that's just a note for back behind the scenes. I'd like to double box the Skycam and myself here shortly and leave that rolling for us, because you can see that camera really picking up a lot of significant wind now coming into the city of Springfield. What I'm looking for is bright flashes, and that would be an indication that the electrical grid is getting hit by some strong winds and causing damage here, as this wind really now moving into west side of Springfield and the northwest side in particular. That's where Jack and Kevin are. We're scanning and continuing to watch it here. Those flashes, if they happen, there's a lightning flash there. I'm looking for a different type of flash at this point to be an indication of damage to the electrical grid. So we're going to watch that and leave that up. And if behind the scenes, if you can watch that also in preview for me and help me keep eyes on it, I'd like a second set of eyes here since we've got both Kevin and Jack in the field. I do want to mention as well the new update from the National Weather Service on our tornado warning for Mclean County. They still indicate the area of rotation is near the community of Downs, if not just east of it, and they are going to keep that warning. Say that again? You're saying flooding with Kevin? Is that what you're... Flooding, okay. In Downs you're saying? Yes, we still have that tornado warning. That's what I'm talking about here. Sorry, production relaying some information to me that's coming across. We still want Downs and Leroy's to stay in their tornado shelter here. Area of circulation very near or just east of Downs. It's slowly moving. In fact, tonight it really hasn't moved all that far here. And the reason for that, I'll show you real fast, is that we are watching this area of rotation that is with surging ahead with the wind. And so what I'll do is I'll pop off my text data here and draw some arrows. This surging of winds here to the south oftentimes can spin up here to the north a little bit, and that's where we're seeing that area of rotation now between Downs and Moraine View State Park. They are continuing that tornado warning until 9:15. I expect by 9 o'clock we'll have an update, so that's a new update for us here. The tornado warning in Mclean County will continue until 9:15. Again, I'm watching that camera in Springfield. If you're here on the floor, if you can also keep eyes on that, that'd be helpful for me, watching that camera right there and watching for any flashes. I need a second set of eyes on that for some wind damage likely coming into Springfield. I got 3 sets of eyes over there. I appreciate it, gentlemen. We've got lots of folks behind the scenes that are helping out with this coverage today. Notice the surging of the winds here down US 136. Now it's at the 4-way stop southeast of Leroy. They've got the 4-way red light blinking. That's where that leading edge of wind is coming down 136 quickly towards Bellflower, eventually Fisher, but also the south and eastward motion here from this batch of storms now through parts of DeWitt, northern Macon, and Piatt counties. And we are concerned for wind now at Clinton Lake, for DeLand, Weldon, Lodge, Mansfield, Farmers City, Monticello, Allerton, Maroa, Forsyth, Friends Creek State Park also in the path of this severe thunderstorm warning, and we're going to watch that here very closely. I do want to mention a new alert just came on in. If you have the WCIA 3 weather app and you live in DeWitt, Logan, Mason, Mclean, or Tazewell counties, a new flash flood warning has come on in. And boy, I tell you, I'm not surprised by that because of the way that these storms are dropping rainfall here. This is a look at our area-wide alerts. There's a lot going on. Box right here, including Bloomington Normal, Hayworth, Downs, Leroy, areas north of Lincoln, areas south of Tremont have seen 2 to 3 inches of rain within an hour or so. That flash flood watch continues. There's a number of watches and warnings and advisories out there. All of that information, if you're watching us on TV, is right here in the bottom of your screen. It continues to scroll and update as new alerts come in. It will let us know what's going on. And so you see that flash flood warning down in that area. I suspect that with the flash flooding from these storms, we'll see more of those alerts come on in as they're training over the same areas here and continue to do so. All right, the time now is 8:56. We're going to check in with Chief Meteorologist Kevin Leidy and Meteorologist Jack Griffin in the storm tracker. I've seen the rain, I've seen the wind. You guys are now on that storm near Springfield. Tell us more on what's going on where you are.
Yep, we are here in Springfield now. We are pretty much back to Highway 4 there. Actually, we are going to be heading. We're going to get back ahead of this thing. We're going to head up ski, and because there is the kind of see the leading edge of that from Sherman, just west of Riverton, is where you kind of got maybe some of the strongest reflectivity that's coming back here. So we are just getting ready to turn onto Veterans Parkway here, and we are on this Sagamon County severe thunderstorm warning that has been kind of moving through this area here. Strong winds possible with this as it comes through. And again, this whole thing is kind of oriented on this kind of southwest to northeast trajectory, and all of these storms along here seem to have tapped into a little bit of a boundary and been able to spin up some of that rotation, and that's what we've been seeing here. By the way, this is one of the longest lights I've ever seen as well. But here we are covering the Sangamon County storm as it kind of starts to move through. We had some very heavy rainfall, and Jack, as the storm was coming through, talk about, what were the winds kind of like as you were just trying to drive?
Oh, I would say they probably got up to like maybe 35 miles an hour. So it was gusty, but nothing severe just yet. At least where we were, if we were to measure it. But they were definitely blowing around the crops like we were parked at. But yeah, not too bad just yet.
All right, there we go. Finally got the green light. So we're going to try to get back ahead of this storm and see what it does as it gets kind of northeast of Springfield, and is going to be up there eventually heading towards kind of Mount Pulaski, the northern portions of Sagamon County, north of Dawson. So we're going to monitor that and keep you up to date on this part of the storm on the kind of western portion of our viewing area that we cover. But for more on the other storms going on, we send it back to Jacob in the studio.
All right, thanks, Kevin. We appreciate that. Seeing a lot of that rain come down here, and that's going to be the story for us moving forth. A lot of that lightning as well. These storms are very much prolific lightning producers. They'll be noisy. We think overall by about 10, 11 o'clock, maybe 11 midnight, the threat for severe weather will go down a little bit and will wane with time here. But right now we still do have a number of alerts in the area. The time is 8:58. We're watching this. A quick reset on what we've seen so far today. So far today, a tornado touchdown near Danforth. Couple of tornadoes touched down near Mahomet. Tornadoes touched down near Argentas. So far, no damage reports from that. We're getting now a tornado that's been reported near Downs. There's likely been at least some damage, though the heavy rain keeping crews from checking that area. We saw the damage in the debris on correlation coefficient, this debris tracker. A lot of heavy wind and rain now coming on through the area, and that will continue to push to the south and to the east. All right, the time now is about 8:59 here. The news starts now on WCIX. We're staying on WCIA weather. I do want to mention our news crews have been making phone calls. We've got Jessica Coons in the studio. You've been calling and talking to folks. They've been letting us know what's going on. Talk to us a little bit more about what you've heard.
We've been calling places all over tonight, trying to see what people are seeing, what they're hearing during this severe weather event. We've been calling places near Downs. Rainy, windy, Old Town Tap and Restaurant. All of their customers are in the basement right now to stay safe from all of this. Pouring heavy there. Streets are flooding in the Downs area. Again, reports from other businesses saying lightning, raining, thunder. A lot of what we're seeing from Kevin and Jack in the storm tracker. A lot of what they're seeing in their area is the same as what people are seeing in the Downs area. If it is safe for you to go out and take a picture out of your window, please send that to us. You can email news@WCIA.com. If it is not, stay in your safe place. This is a picture that was taken earlier tonight, just after 7 o'clock. This was near Mahomet looking north. This picture came in on Facebook. And Jacob, we saw this picture earlier. This looked to be part of a tornado. That was not the one in Iroquois County.
No, this the first photo you saw was near Mahomet at 7:10. We'll have to go back and look at that because these storms really haven't been too impressive on radar. But we've seen the circulations and we've seen the tornadoes. We did have some tornado warnings earlier. This was from near Mahomet. That next photo down the line was near Ludlow. And you can see that rope funnel cloud in a number of these photos have come on through. There's another vantage point of it. Our viewers have sent us these photos on social media and by email. We appreciate that, and we continue to watch these storms very closely here. Let's roll the next photo and get a couple of more in here, and then I've got an update for you if we've got them, and if not, we can come back to me. There we go. This was one that was near Dewey. It was the same one that dropped a tornado about 5:30 near Mahomet, and it's looking from Dewey off to the south and to the west there as that storm earlier came on through in Champaign County. One of at least what we think was 2 tornadoes in the area. This was the photo of the day, though. Came from Nicole and Mahomet, and you can see that clear touchdown of the tornado north and east of Mahomet. A brief touchdown earlier today with what we've seen. The concern is that maybe tonight more wind and tornadoes may occur, and so we'll watch it here. And there's one last photo from Kelly and that here in the region programming. The tornado warning has been canceled for Mclean County. So our friends in the restaurant in the Downs area, the severe weather threat is over, though we still are watching damaged winds carrying on to the south and to the east. And it's going to be for Clinton and Farmer City, Whiteheath, Weldon, Cisco, Forsyth, and Moreau. This is a severe thunderstorm warning. And so what we'll do is we're actually going to break away from our severe weather coverage since there is no tornado warning in effect now. And what we'll do is, if we can bring me full screen here, is we're going to watch this storm closely and monitor it. In about 30 seconds, I'd like to toss a commercial break. Then we'll go back to WCIX News at 9, do our normal show there as much as possible. If you're watching CBS, we're going to go back to our regularly scheduled programming, and that's the plan here for at least a while. If there is another tornado warning or an update, we'll cut into CBS if need be, but I'm optimistic that maybe the straight line winds will be the main threat tonight, but there still will be a serious threat for parts of DeWitt, Macon, Piatt, perhaps eventually Champaign County as these storms move to the south and to the east, and of course the flooding threat will be substantial as well. We'll have more updates for you on WCIX News at 9 starting shortly here. We'll be back to your regularly scheduled programming on CBS. I'm meteorologist Jacob Dickey with updates on severe weather in central Illinois. Join us at WCIX News at 9 or come on back over WCIA 3 News at 10 on CBS. Now back to your regularly scheduled programming.
This is your WCIA 3 forecast first.
It is 9:05. We've been having severe weather coverage on WCIA and WCIX. We're now doing the news at 9. And I do want to mention a couple of new warnings have come on into the region here. First off, we have a severe thunderstorm warning for parts of Clinton, parts of DeWitt County, Macon County, and Piatt County, as well as south and eastern Mclean County. The storm near Clinton and Farmer City, a lot of wind, a lot of rain. There has, in fact, been some power outages in the area reported from this. A new severe thunderstorm warning did come across the board for Logan County. We're actually watching a new area of rotation close to Hartsburg. We're going to watch that one closely. And then the storms that are moving into the Springfield area no longer have a warning in place, but are still having some strong winds with them as they move off to the east. And we've got a tracker out there. We've got more coverage for you. Of course, we'll have more weather updates through the show and through the night. WCIX News at 9 starts right now.
You're watching your local news leader. This is WCIA 3 News at 9 on X49.
And as you can see, there's severe weather all across central Illinois tonight. But good evening, I'm Bryce Beeman. We've seen several tornadoes across central Illinois tonight. More severe weather may still be on the way. Meteorologist Jacob Dickey joins us. Jacob, what can you tell us about this severe weather we had and what to expect tonight?
Yeah, it's been an active day here in the region. A number of reports of brief tornadoes, one near Danforth. We've had perhaps up to 2 north and east of Mahomet. Also had a couple of reports that were of tornadoes in Macon County near Cisco, just to the in western Piatt County. Currently, right now, a number of storms. There is a flash flood warning. I'll mention that, and all those warnings are crawling in the bottom of your screen. This batch of storms in Logan, DeWitt, Macon, and Piatt counties pushing to the south and east does have my eye for some strong straight-line winds, though there's other storms in the area. Sagamon County, west of Springfield, having lots of rain and wind. We're also seeing some rain and wind up north of Gibson City and northern Ford, Iroquois, and Livingston County. Expecting to see much more in the way of rain and severe weather for at least a couple of more hours. The rain continues through much of the night tonight. That flash flood watch does go tomorrow morning. Already have a couple of flash flood warnings in the region. Of course, we think the severe threat with wind, hail, and an isolated tornado probably ending around 11 tonight. That's when that severe thunderstorm watch goes to. We'll be here all night and all week and watching that. I'll have a full check of your forecast coming up later on in the show. Bryce?
All right, Jacob, thank you so much. And don't forget, with this severe weather we're having, you can also download the WCIA app to stay up to date with all the latest weather updates. You can also check our website, WCIA.com, or our Facebook page. But in other news, Champaign-Urbana Public Health District says it's hard to know when we will reach herd immunity. CUPD says with new variants arising, it's hard to determine exactly when it would happen. They say it's about small goals. They hope Champaign County will be 70% vaccinated by July 4th. They said nearly 65% of eligible adults 18 and older are vaccinated in Urbana, but it's closer to 55% for the whole county.
With COVID, it is hard because we are still seeing different variants. We are still seeing the effect of, the vaccines. We are still seeing breakthrough cases, although very small numbers. So we don't want to use herd immunity as a term. We just have short and long-term goals.
He says even though case numbers are low, it's critical for vaccinations to rise so that the virus does not make a comeback in the winter months. And here's a look at today's COVID numbers statewide. There are 292 new cases. 8 more people have died. The 7-day positivity rate is 0.8%. When it comes to vaccination rates, more than 47% of the state is fully vaccinated. A total of 12.3 million shots have been given. 40,000 of those were given yesterday. The daily average is close to 29,000 shots. An Auburn man was arrested after being linked to the January 6th attack at the U.S. Capitol. Shane Jason Woods was in court yesterday. His charging documents show him on the steps of the Capitol building that day. He's charged with assaulting a Capitol police officer and engaging in violence inside the Capitol. In total, he is facing 8 charges. Woods is the 11th person from Illinois charged with crimes linked to the assault. And when you call 911, a police officer will respond. But a new plan passed through the Capitol last month could change that. In an officer's place, a mental health professional could come to try and de-escalate the situation. WCIA 3's Cole Hankey has more on how the bill could change how emergency responses work.
Illinois is moving one step closer to changing the way the state polices mental health. Lawmakers passed the Community Emergency Support Services Act. It changes the way to handle calls surrounding mental health issues and could end up meaning somebody besides a police officer is sent in their place.
Sometimes there's things that could have taken place where we could just keep them from sending them to the hospital altogether. So sending out my team, majority of the time we're able to deflect from the hospital completely.
Mental health professionals could step in and take control of the situation instead of an officer. Springfield police have been working to implement a co-responder model for years.
We have somebody else that we can confer with, that we can say, yes, this is the best way to treat them, or no, these are the other options that they have.
Some, but not all, police officers in this crisis intervention training. But that training lasts 40 hours, and while it's beneficial, officers like Sergeant Doss, who have been CIT certified since 2003, is still painfully aware of how much more qualified social workers like Anderson are for dealing with these cases.
So they have 6 years of training compared to my 40 hours. So that's going to be able to help more.
The Community Emergency Support Services Act is far from a new idea. It's modeled after a similar program that's been in place for over 30 years in Oregon.
Let's let the police do what the police are there for, and let's let the mental health providers do what their realm is.
The Community Emergency Support Services Act will coincide with the new emergency crisis call line that launches in 2022. It will allow people to call 988 when someone is dealing with a mental health crisis and help dispatchers decide who should be sent. But search and rescue teams are still looking for dozens of people. A building collapsed yesterday morning in Florida, plus a historic day for one university. We'll have more on the Purple Heart recognition at U of I. But Jacob, this weather, you've been at it for hours.
Watching these storms very much so. A couple of warnings still on the board here. One north of Decatur for Macon, DeWitt, and Piatt County, and southeastern Mclean County, I should say. A new warning for Logan County. We're going to talk all about storms, how they progress through the night, why the transition may be coming to flooding rains and flash flooding, and how the weekend looks. All of those details and much more coming up after this.
Now, Central Illinois' most accurate forecast with meteorologist Jacob Dickey.
It has been an active night in central Illinois and continues to do that. Meanwhile, lots of folks have missed out on the rain. We're watching a nice corridor of heavy rain from Springfield towards west of Champaign now and off to the north towards Ford, Iroquois, and Livingston counties. This will slowly move to the east and southeast, and it is something we're going to watch very closely here for the foreseeable future. I want to spend some time first and talk about these storms in general. This batch of storms here now from Clinton to Weldon and Farmer City, right over Clinton Lake, that is moving to the south and to the east. Eventually, we may see a new warning come for Champaign County. That's a heads up first for Champaign, Urbana, to the east there, Whiteheath, Mahomet, Seymour, maybe down towards Ivesdale. We'll watch this closely here. They're starting to accelerate slowly, now moving 25 to 30 miles an hour. Another warning has come in for parts of Logan County here. And this has my eye in particular. You'll notice these almost little S-curve shaped objects here, or what they look like. Some little notches are developing in this line in Logan County, and so we're going to watch it closely here. You'll see that little bitty notches in that green color. Sometimes we can get brief tornadoes that form along that, more of a QLCS, a linear embedded situation. So we're going to watch Logan County very closely, and as well as for a lot of these storms moving on through. But you can notice here for those storms over Farmer City, a lot of wind, a lot of rain, lots of lightning with these storms as they continue their march to the east and to the southeast. There's no concerns of severe weather right now in Ford, Iroquois, and Livingston County. I will mention that. We'll drop south a little bit. A lot of rain now in Sagamon County and off to the south and west towards southeastern Morgan County. This batch of rain and storms will also continue its slowward progression to the east and will be something that we continue to watch here for a bit longer. Let's go ahead and bring the graphics full here. I'd like to show you the camera from Champaign, and we're watching to see if we don't get any lightning out there. There's been a lot. Champaign, though, has stayed dry tonight, though our friends in Mahomet, northeast of Mahomet towards Fisher, a couple of reports of tornadoes have been reported, I should say, in that area. In the meantime, temperatures right now in the upper 70s, but it's a very juicy tropical air mass. The dew point at 75, an indication here that we've got a lot of moisture in place, and that's going to be the story for us here as we move on through. And with all of that moisture, heavy rain will be a big concern here moving forth. The flash flood watch continues through at least Saturday morning. So while the severe threat may end by, say, 11 or 12, that's when the severe thunderstorm watch will expire. We'll watch and make sure there's no local extensions of that. It does seem like the transition is starting to begin towards a heavy rain event here in central Illinois. Because of that, we're expecting thunderstorms through the night in most areas. They'll slowly move to the south and east. We'll show you future track. Tomorrow morning may actually bring us a shine and drier weather into the region. We're optimistic that these rounds of storms will continue their eastward march here. And as they do so, notice still by midnight, future track wants to these storms over the same areas. These storms are dropping 1 to 2 inch rainfall amounts an hour, and we may see some very high rainfall totals tonight. There is a flash flood warning for Mclean, Logan, and DeWitt County. That is crawling on the bottom of your screen right now if you're watching on TV. Tomorrow at 4 a.m., things are really weakening, but still some showers and a few rumbles of thunder out there. Again, I think the severe threat ends by about 11 p.m. for this round, but Saturday will be a new day for us here. Thankfully, we're looking dry Saturday morning in much of the area. Some scattered showers will be expected, but by the afternoon and evening hours, more thunderstorms anticipated into the region as temperatures get back into the 80s here. Tomorrow, I think we're getting up to 86 in Champaign, 86 in Danville, 86 in Clinton, and we'll also look for a high of 87 in Litchfield, 86 in Springfield, 87 in Decatur. Look for a high tomorrow. 88 in Tuscola, 87 in Charleston, 88 in Effingham. This may be one of the juicier days for us here in the region with those dew points being high, very muggy type atmosphere in place. And watch what that does for us with these showers and storms. Here we are, 11 a.m., very isolated. Very, more dry than not in the morning. So maybe get a chance to get a walk in the morning hours. But by the afternoon, and evening, we expect more of these batches of showers and storms to roll on through. They'll have a chance for maybe a few strong storms in the area. A level 1 marginal risk does exist for much of central Illinois. That goes for Saturday, but the new update comes out at midnight tonight. Even Sunday, I can't rule out a few strong storms. We'll likely be babysitting things here all through the weekend. But perhaps the biggest concern, some of these rainfall totals. This is through Monday morning. Some areas could see 2, 3, 4 inches plus in the next 48 hours or so. Areas to the south and east, like Effingham, Mattoon, Paris, we're not expecting really much in the way of rain down there. It seems like that corridor setting up along and north of Interstate 72 for heavier rainfall totals. We'll keep you updated, but look what happens when we go through the week ahead here, adding more rain in those same areas. Lesser amounts towards I-70, but still some heavy rainfall totals over the next 7 days as we continue see chances for rain and storms in the forecast. 72, we're watching the rain and storms right now. I think by tomorrow morning, things are looking a lot drier, but more rounds of showers and thunderstorms anticipated here. Each day has the chance for rain. It will not be a washout necessarily, but I think the best advice is when you wake up, check your WCIA 3 weather app, look at the planner. It'll give you an idea of when the best chance for rain will be during the day as we see these rounds of showers and storms all through the week ahead as this tropical air mass locks into place.
Yeah, definitely be weather aware. And thank you, Jacob, for continuing to update us.
We will. We've got Kevin heading towards Mount Pulaski. That update came on in. We're going to watch those storms. We'll be doing our digital platforms live here after the show, so we'll keep that up, and you can join us there.
All right. Thanks, Jacob. We'll be right back.
This is truly a great honor.
The University of Illinois was given a Purple Heart designation today. Chancellor Robert Jones called it one of the most historic moments in the school's history. This recognition means the university is a support system for veterans who were hurt in service to our country. After accepting the plaque, Dean Cheryl Hanley Maxwell said helping veterans with disabilities at U of I dates back to World War II. Tim Nugent, also known as the father of accessibility, founded the first comprehensive program for these students back then, right here in Central Illinois. She said thanks to the work done in Illinois, accessibility in buildings, public transit, sports, and more gradually followed.
At a time when people who were using wheelchairs for mobility were not expected or encouraged to attend college, let alone do anything to dream for their careers, Tim Nugent said, why not?
There was a multitude of speakers that shared stories and applauded the designation from the Military Order of the Purple Heart. And we'll be right back. The Commerce Department is out with another inflation report later today. The Core Personal Consumption Expenditures Index is expected to show prices rose about 3% compared to last year. This report offers a slightly more wide-ranging look at inflation compared to the Labor Department because it tracks business and consumer activity. And consumers loosened their wallets slightly in May as Americans began venturing outside again. According to the Commerce Department, personal spending rose less than 0.1% last month. That was weaker than expected, but it may have been because incomes took a hit. The government says household incomes fell 2% in May. And we'll have a final check of your forecast after this.
We're keeping an eye on radar right now. The good news is the National Weather Service has decided to let the warnings for Logan, DeWitt, Piatt, and Macon counties expire at 9:30. So those warnings are about to go off there. We still do have a severe thunderstorm watch that's in effect for a little while longer here. So we're going to watch these storms. Lots of rain and storms across the area. And I think even on our digital platform, we'll do a quick update there if you want more information. But we'll wrap this coverage up here, and then we'll have more updates on reports of damage, photos of tornadoes, much more like that coming up at WCIA 3 News at 10 o'clock. We'll continue to watch our social media platforms as well. If you have any reports, send those our way as we watch this line of rain and storms continue to move to the east.
All right, Jacob, thanks so much for updating us. And everyone have a great night and stay safe.
See you at 10. All right, cool. We're here, folks. I just want to give you an update. Some good news from the National Weather Service, and they have dropped the warning. So we have no active warnings in the area. This is just a quick update on digital. So the plan is hopefully this means the rest of the night we're done. We'll watch it and keep you updated. But I think at 10 o'clock, we'll talk more about these rain and storms, the transition to flooding continuing to happen here. We'll have updates on the flooding rains, the chance for more severe weather in the coming days. We'll have updates on photos and more coming up at 10 o'clock tonight. Thanks for joining us on our digital platforms. Join us for WCIA 3 News at 10 o'clock in about a half an hour. We'll see you then.